Hi, I'm Amy, and if you aren't familiar with Johnson County Public Library, we're a 4-branch system just south of Indianapolis, and we serve over 100,000 people in our area. When we first closed for quarantine and were starting to devise how we were going to do our virtual and video programming, I think I was the only staff member who was excited about it because I do have a background in television and film. We decided to use YouTube, Facebook Live, and Zoom as our platforms. And when we were at home, of course, we were stuck with whatever we had on hand. And we decided to go strictly with YouTube so that we would be able to edit in case anything happened when we were at home. And we could also do things like boost some of the quality of the audio and different things with the editing software. But now that we're back in the buildings, we are doing more live in Zoom. I've organized this presentation a little bit by age level, just because it seemed to make sense. I don't know why. When we were at home, the children's programmers decided that it was easiest for them to record shorter videos, especially if they were doing their phones and they were, dealing with everything else being in quarantine at home. So they were just filming shorter, reading a story or singing a song, not doing a full story time. So they were shorter, about a minute or two long, more like a TikTok, and those just did not catch on with our YouTube viewers. So we regrouped and we started doing some longer children's programming. We did more like a full story time around a theme. And then when we were able to do curbside and when summer learning started, we did kits that you could pick up at curbside for different arts, crafts, and science experiments. And then we would film a YouTube to go along with it. And then the kids could pick up a kit whenever they were able to, and then watch the YouTube video on their own time. A lot of our kids took pictures and shared on our socials what they made with the kits, and that was really, really super fun and rewarding. We did some other instructional things for kids, just trying to see what would hit, and I just wanted to mention that something that was super successful for us was one of our librarians who is certified to do yoga did a little series on stress management and stretching and yoga for kids, and those ended up just being super popular. So it's one of those things you never know what's going to hit or not, and these ended up being really popular on our YouTube channel. People still watch them, even now months later. For our live events, we mostly just moved our outside presenters over to live. So our summer concert that we had with the shake-ups, we moved that to a Facebook Live, and that was super fun. And other outside presenters that we had lined up, we went ahead and moved to Zoom or Facebook Live. But now that we're back in the branches and we have more people to help out, sometimes it's difficult to manage a Zoom if you have to run all your equipment, deal with the chat, and also do your presentations. So now when we do a Zoom or a Facebook Live for our staff for story times, we always make sure that we have 2 people, just so that you have an assistant to kind of help you. If a question comes in chat and you're in the middle of reading a story, the other person can help with that, help address with anything that comes up. And also it's just nice to have somebody, especially if you are doing a craft also, to be able to move the camera for you so that you don't have to sort of awkwardly stop and redo a new setup and then start your craft. The other person can help you zoom in and help make sure that everybody can see. So we are doing a lot more live now for all ages, really. For our teen programming, as we were starting to do those on YouTube, we realized that what really got a lot of viewership were videos that really focused more on the librarian and their personality and just having fun, just connecting with the YA staff. So you can see like Anne Marie's doing low cost cosplay, which is really interesting, but it also really showcases her personality and the kind of things that she likes to do. So those ended up being fun. We did do some other things like how to do e-learning and how to use our ebooks. And, teens, that wasn't what they were interested in. I think they really just wanted more of that connection with their staff. We also beefed up our game spaces. We built a library in Roblox, and we also created actually a new Minecraft server on a new host that offered really easy ways to make mini games so that we could host events there, as well as leaving the space open so that kids could just pop in and play during our open hours. The Roblox Library also offers a space for kids if they write or if they create art or anything like that. We can post that for them. You can actually shelve little books in the Roblox Library, and then you can click on them and read them like an ebook. We've asked some of our local authors to also submit books, and that's growing really slowly. It really works best with teens. We have found that if you contact them or their parents directly, instead of just posting an event or posting a YouTube, if you find your kids that had been coming to your game clubs or that use the computer every day to game, if you find them and just shoot them an email and say, hey, guess what, we have a Roblox library, or hey, guess what, we're doing Minecraft build battle or Skyblock at this time, a little competition, you get a lot better hits, because teens aren't looking at the library Facebook page or the library Twitter. But if you contact them directly, then they'll be like, oh, I didn't know about that. Yeah, I'll come to build battle or whatever. We also took some of our other board gaming and other game groups and moved those to virtual. We used Jackbox for some board gaming. We used Roll20 for D&D. We did some Pokemon gaming, and we also created some trivia on My Quiz and some like Name That Tune and music and video game trivia. And those were all really popular and pretty low key to do. Didn't need a lot of prep for those other than creating the trivia questions. And we reused those a lot. We'll run the same one several times and then get different people come in. For adults, of course, the regular things like craft and cooking, those still stayed popular. And moving on with the craft kits for adults, that's also been popular. Instructions for some of our e-services and products, just how to use our ebooks now that we're closed. And also reminding people of our databases, different things like lynda.com and things they have access to that they can do from home. But what was a surprising little niche that ended up being super popular for us was readers and viewers advisory. We did some book talks like Quarantine Reads. We did Discover New Music on Hoopla. We did lists and things like, if you watch Tiger King, what weird animal documentaries are there on Hoopla and Canopy? And people just they love those. That was actually another thing that worked for teens as well. We also did some top 10s, like top 10 best movies from the 90s. And we would just shoot a quick video and post it, and it ended up just being really popular, just giving book recommendations and other material recommendations. For our live events for adults, we did move our outside presenters that we already had scheduled to like a live Zoom. A lot of them allowed us to record those so that we could post them for later. We also did our book discussions, moved all those to Zoom, including a community read that was actually more of a last minute. We did not have that pre-scheduled, but we did a community conversation for the Hate U Give during a lot of the Black Lives Matter protesting, and that proved to be very popular for us and all of our book groups. It's just kind of a way to keep them going. And attendance is real up and down. We don't always get the same groups that we would in person, but usually it's different people each time from the same group. So hopefully we'll be able to keep those established, and people will come back when they're live again. Also, I just wanted to include some of the out-of-the-box kind of things that we tried, just to see what would work and what worked out really well for us. We did have some bigger author events scheduled as part of our Authors at JCPL series, and we offered Zoom to all of those people, and Brad Thor was the only one that so far, there might be more, but he was the only one so far that bit on that. And so we moved his rather large author event to Zoom, and it was okay. Of course, it's hard to get authors to even do a Zoom if you can't offer them any sales. Usually when we do these bigger author events, we give out a lot of free books and we have sales and autographs there. But we did buy less than usual, but we did still purchase a set of his new books to give out at curbside to the first, I can't remember, like first 50 people who signed up for the Zoom. And I think he autographed book plates, I can't remember, but so that was really nice. And it did offer him a little bit of sales, but it turned out great. He let us record it. We put it up. People are still watching it. And so if you had a big event scheduled and you're terrified to move that to online, be reassured, it's okay. We also did an outdoor clue game, and that was super easy. We just mocked up some clues using library staff. We just took pictures of ourselves doing dumb stuff and holding our dumb murder weapons that we made up, and we hung the clues on the book drops, at our story walks, or at other places outside of our branches. Just laminated them and taped them up. And then you could, drive around when you're returning your books, or if you were really into it, you could drive around to all the branches and find all the signs. And then it's just like Clue, process of elimination, and then you guessed at the end which librarian and which library-themed murder weapon murdered the evil Dr. COVID. So it was really cute. It again got a lot of attention from our patrons, and we just had a form on our website where you could submit your guess, and then we picked a winner, and they were able to pick up their prize at curbside. Again, we had our game spaces. It's just nice to have a virtual room, a virtual location for kids to kind of hang out. Minecraft is a great one, but Roblox is also really good because you don't have to pay to play it. Minecraft, you do have to purchase the game, but Roblox is online and you can create a character for free. So it would just helped us. We kind of expanded into Roblox because of that. We did other online contests. We did the Shredded Book in a Jar contest for Children's Book Week, but just using photographs on our social media. And again, did the online form on our website so you could put your guesses in, and then we handed out prizes. We also did Guess the Book Character, where every couple hours during the course of a day, we would release a new clue about Guess the Book Character, and then the first person who got it, if they got it after the first clue or the second clue, they got a little prize that they could pick up. That was fun. It really brought people back to our socials, all during the course of the day, which just helps keep the library in your mind so that you don't forget about us while we're closed. What was really fun and rewarding is we started a podcast. And again, we're just trying to figure out ways to reach people, and we sort of came up with a theme. We have staff members talk about like the stories behind a book or a creator, how they come up with their ideas, that kind of thing. It's called Backstories, and it's been really rewarding. It's been really popular. We even have some international listeners. I don't know how they found us, but yay. So I really recommend that. If you get a good idea or you have an idea for a podcast, just go for it because it's lots of fun to create those. We don't have any library pets other than our snails, but we do have snails and we live stream them, and they're more active than you think, even though they're snails. And we did a little naming program for them because they really didn't have names, but they do now. And we started a pen pal program. Also, this has been very rewarding. Kids, adults, anybody can put a pen pal letter in our Dropbox, and we'll match them up to a staff member, and then the staff member can write a response that they can then pick up at curbside. We also offered this to some of our assisted living centers. We were still doing drop-offs and pickups for them outside the building, and so we were able to include letters with those so that we could correspond with some of the people in the assisted living, and it's just been really rewarding. It's been a lot of fun. So those are just some of our ideas. There's a lot more out there. These are kind of our hits, and I tried to highlight some of our misses. Again, your mileage may vary, and if you're interested, you can check us out, webpage, all our socials, and our podcast on Anchor FM. It's also available on most of the major podcast servers. And thank you so much for having me.